Okay guys, latest project. I've got a frame, got a tank, got an old swing arm, a few old bits. Basically, I figured why not use it? I hate throwing stuff away. So I had this frame, the back end of it had been hit by a car, is the back end of it. And basically what happened is it pushed everything over that way, and this is too far over. So the space in between there is a lot wider than it should be. So you can't mount standard rear mudguard, you can't do anything with the back end, the grab rail won't fit, etc. So I chopped it off, as seen in one of my previous videos, CB400 T-frame versus an angle grinder. Yeah, that's just a plastic cap that's just sat in there for a minute. Stop me dropping stuff in there. So my idea is to make it into a monoshock. Now, it can be done. I've just been given a welder. I've got to go and pick up the gas for it and a new roll of wire. There's also a mask. I haven't welded in 20 years, if not longer, about 25 years. The tank has got a few dents in it. Let's pull that off. The tank is off of a CB400 T2, same as a CB400A. Yeah, it's got a few dents in it, got a rather big one in that side. We'll sort that out somehow, but it hasn't got any holes in it. So I did make a cardboard template for a seat idea, but I'm going to change that. Essentially all I've done is chopped off the entire back end. I'll undo these couple of bolts and show you what I've done. Those are just to hold it in there. Right, so essentially what I've done, move that out of the way, is take it off from here. And these were rusty and they'd bent from there. So if I show you those, they're here. As you can see, when it hit, I'll put them over here. If I lay them down, that one lays down, that one lays down. If you put them like that, you can see they don't line up. One's a lot higher than the other. So, although these brackets were firmly attached, the damage to this one is where I ground it off. But yeah, you can see the height difference in those. So it actually bent the frame from there. So the back end was bent. It wasn't worth bothering with. So yeah, I've ground it off. The idea is this is just temporary. I need another monoshock, or a short monoshock if anyone's got one. To mount a monoshock, this one's slightly too long, but yeah, mount a monoshock on it. Tab coming off the frame, reinforced swinging arm down there, put a mount down there, and then we'll have a shock on it. But to do that, I need several things. The things that I'm missing are, I need a couple of old wheels. Condition's not important, as long as I've got tyres on them, just so I can roll it around. I need wheel spindles, because, well, they're fairly important. The fork internals. The forks at the moment have no internals in them. Bit of a pain, but I do need the internals for the forks. So once I've got those, I can then start to build the bike, start to build the monoshock conversion, the whole frame around the back end, around here where I'm going to have it. It's not going to be a calf racer. It's not going to be anything really. It's going to be a custom. Those bars are just temporary because that's all that I had. Also need the lower bearing cup that goes in the frame. I've got the bits that go on the yoke, but I need the bearing cup that goes in the frame. I've got the bearings, got the piece that goes on the yoke. I haven't got the cup that goes inside the frame. So if anyone has one of them, it'd be very useful. Yeah, it's got CDI on it, it's got a coil on it. I will sort out a wiring harness later on. And I need these footrest mounts. Just the big alley bits off of any CB. Don't care if it's a Super Dream, a Dream, CM. They'll all bolt on there. Just hold it rigid. So I know exactly where these brackets got to be, because they are quite flexible. Oh, the whole bike moves when I do that at the moment. But they are quite flexible. Because of course, they're only held on by this piece here now. So that will then hold those in place with a swing on bolt, position them correctly, so then I can like remodel them, just go round to the frame or something. We will create things like the chain guard for it eventually, once we get that far. That's miles ahead yet. So yeah, a lot of work to be done to it. It's the latest project. I know this nut's wrong, but it just holds that on there for now. I have an ignition, so most of the electrics are there. Besides the wiring harness, I've got interesting custom little bits that can go on it. I just want to basically turn a useless frame into something. So that's the latest project. I've still got the CB400T. Is that there? Still got to sort out the tank on it. A couple of little bits of paintwork. I've got to replace this headlamp bracket, which Colin gave me another one, or he gave me a pair. As you can see, probably this one is covered in rust. All over, it's pitted like mad. Doesn't look very good. The other one, besides one little ring of rust around the bottom there, which can be cleaned off, is actually good. So then that will replace that one, which will look a lot better. And yeah, it needs petrol. It runs beautifully now. I've got to get some more pipe for the balancers, carb balancers, as that perished. But yeah, it's all looking good. I've just cleaned the lacquer off the rear drum, a few other bits. I did make a whole video of me putting it back together, and then I don't know what happened when I uploaded it. The middle of it went black for about 20 minutes. It was a half-hour long video, so most of it destroyed. Yeah, I fitted a brand new old stock choke cable with the slightly curved top, so that's correct. Because I did have one, but the word choke was worn out on it, so I replaced the cable. Still got to paint the brake master cylinder and do all this, because you can see it got brake fluid on it and the paint just flakes off it, so I've just got to do all that. But that's not hard, that's all quite easy to do. Not sure if the seal on there is still good. No, I think the seal on it's gone. Yeah, it has. The seal's gone on the brake master cylinder, so it's weeping fluid, so that needs replacing. I did rebuild the front caliper, and for now it's just finished in grey primer. Must paint that black. So yeah, that's that. It basically just needs a few little bits doing now. New set of tyres wouldn't go amiss. So when I have the money, they'll get done. Still got to replace the silencers and rear shocks, but they'll be within the next 6 months. So then she will be all up and running perfectly and usable. Oh, and I've got to do the clutch. Clutch doesn't work. Did the clutch decided to die. It's basically jammed, and no matter what I try, all the usual techniques, starting the bike, putting it in gear with a clutch and things like that, rocking it while it's in gear, all those things, nothing wants to work, so I presume the clutch turned to mush. So yeah, there's those little bits that need doing on it. Other than that, it's all in good condition. I replaced a load of the indicators, ones that didn't have pitting in them. A lot of them were really pitted. Yeah, so that's all it needs doing to the CB400T. So yeah, this is the next project. Monoshock conversion. As I say, I do need 2 old Super Dream or Dream wheels. Don't care what condition they're in. If you've got spindles for them, even better. If you haven't, don't worry, I'll get some spindles. But yeah, if anyone's got those, it'd be very useful. That way I can then jack up the frame, work out the height it's meant to be, and then get to welding the shock in, which would be quite interesting. So this is going to be completely different to any other CB400T that you've ever seen. It is a CB400T frame from 1978. Normally I wouldn't chop one up and customise it, but this one, the frame really was too far gone. There was no saving it. It would have taken £1,000 just to sort the frame out, so I haven't got £1,000 to sort of frame out, especially when I can get a bike for a couple of grand with a good frame, etc. Not that I've got that sort of money, but you can. So I'm just thinking, do something different with it. I'm not a purist, because everyone seems to think I'm a purist because I know how the bike should be. Yeah, this one's gonna be different. Yeah, and then we'll look at getting an engine for it. I do know of a 450 engine, 450DX engine, that would go very nicely in there, bolt straight in. Oh, there's a shed door blowing. Let's just open that again, get some light in there. So yeah, I could put that in, run out a set of rejetted 400 carbs, or I could just find an old 400 engine, rebuild it and put it in there. Don't know what condition the CDI is in, so it might end up with a Rex's Speed Shop CDI. But yeah, that's where that's at the moment. Probably will end up with that tank on it. If not, one of the old Pedrock tanks. Same as the Dream. It's just one of them things. It's yeah, getting it running. So you get all welded together, get it running with whatever engine you decide to put in it, and then carry on doing mods from there. And then basically bikes like this are very rarely finished. You will notice on that one, the upper bearing cup or bearing retainer is a gold colour. That's because I just zinc plated it and got a gold passivate coating. So yeah, it's like a gold colour. I just plan on using stainless bolts on this one, same as that. There's a few of them around. Just to build it up basically. what I'm going to do is I'm going to get one of these. I've got another swinging arm outside. I'm going to cut the mount off. I'm going to weld a plate onto the swing arm so it covers a large section, and then I'm going to weld the suspension mount to the bottom of it, or to the top of it rather, across here, so there's somewhere to mount the shock absorber on. Then, depending on what shock absorber I have, probably 2 tabs coming off the frame to the mount, and then build it out from sort of the original area. I'm not sure yet whether I'm going to go for a single seater or carry it across, do a twin seat calf racer style hoop with like a, I don't know, flat tracker back end, that sort of thing. Don't know if I'm going to have road tyres in it or off-road tyres yet. See what happens. It's going to grow, but it's going to be totally unique. I decided on the exhaust system for it, which isn't like anything like a standard CB400T exhaust. I've decided on what I'm going to do with the air filters, etc. And there are going to be some interesting surprises with this one. It is going to be all LED, all the lighting. I'm not going to bother with the old-fashioned bulbs. Might go for an electronic speedo, not sure yet. But any parts you have, guys, that you no longer want, give me a shout. Even if I get some old engine cases for it for now, and an old engine mount, just to get the bike up to the right height, it'd be useful. But it's one of them things that's just basically so I can mock up the frame, weld it, so I know it's the right height, what it's going to roughly look like when it's done, and then I can work from there. So yeah, that's what's coming up. Will be this summer. I've just got to get some bits done, and I can make a good start on this one, and I'll just post weekly on the progress. My health isn't great, but I will post weekly on this one. Probably do it every Sunday or something like that, just to give you something to watch. I know a lot of people post on Tuesday. But yeah, so I hope you like it, guys. Any suggestions, give us a shout. Don't just say scrap it, because it's got the logbook. The main section of the frame that you can see here, I've had checked. That part of it is straight. The swinging arm is just an old swinging arm from another bike that needs work, needs welding, etc. But this section of the frame is straight. So whereas the whole back section that was on it was all twisted. So luckily we managed to save that section. So let's see what we can do. Alright folks, take care. I'll catch you all soon.